Hello my friends, welcome to Rain Francis Art. My name is Rain. Today I'm pulling out the watercolors and I'm going to show you how I painted this spooky Halloweeny silhouette scene. Won't you join me? This is what I'll be using for my painting today. I've got some Strathmore watercolor paper. It's the 300 series and it's 9 by 12. I have it landscape, 140 pound. That's what I normally use for all of my watercolors. And I've taped it down with masking tape onto my surface. Now for brushes, I've got a large round brush. I've used it so often that the number has worn off and I don't know how large it is, but I would guess it's between an 8 and a 10, but it all depends on the brands, you know, they all have different numbers and sizes. I have some round brushes here. This is a number 4, a number 3, and a number 2 round brush, and I have a liner brush. I'm not sure exactly which brushes I'll end up using, but I will definitely link that into the, not link it, I'll list it in the description to let you know what I end up using. So let me put my brushes aside here. And for paints today, I'm using pan paints. And this is something I bought on Amazon. It's Pretty Excellent, that's the brand. I know it has another name too, but I don't read that language, so I'll just show you. It's pan paints. And I'm probably going to stick to the warmer yellows, oranges, and reds today. Okay? And for the pumpkins and the tree, I'm going to make it like a silhouette. And I always have sort of my cold colors in a different palette. I have several different palettes because these are tube paints. All these are tube paints. This is a black that I'm keeping handy in case I need more. But I've got black and I've got gray and different blues and greens and purple. So I always keep my cold palette separate from my warm palette. So I'm going to keep that there just in case I need it, which I will actually. And I'll keep this handy too. This is HWC brand black watercolor paint. It's lamp black, but you can use any black. There's no need to have a specific black color. And you can also do this with acrylics if you'd like. And I also have next to me, I have some water, I have some paper towels, and what else? I think that's about it. So I thought, since we're painting today, I'd bring out my Bob Ross playing cards. And let's get some wisdom from Bob Ross today before we start. I love these little playing cards. They are adorable. And each one has a little quote from Bob Ross from his show, The Joy of Painting. So let's pull a card and see what he has to say. He says, "Did you ever think you could just take a great big old brush and make all these beautiful little trees? You really can." Talk about believing in yourself. Did you ever think you could just take a great big old brush and make these beautiful little trees? You really can. So keep that in mind, my friends. You can do it. Let's listen to Bob Ross today. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I want to create my background. Let me get there's dust on my canvas. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by wetting my canvas. I'm going to do wet on wet. So I'm going to wet the entire canvas. A lot of this is going to be covered up with black, but I do want to have a nice background. And I might make it maybe a sunrise or a sunset or something like that. I know I just want to use oranges and reds and yellows. So I'm going to start with yellow. This is lemon yellow. Okay, and I'm just going to do a little lemon yellow in the middle. I don't really have this planned, my friends. I just really need to relax here. Now I've got cadmium yellow, which is sort of an orangey yellow, or a yellowy orange. And I'm going to do plenty of layers. I'm going to have to let it dry in between. Okay, now I'm going to go into the oranges. I'm going right through my palette. So this is orange yellow, I think it's called. And this is what I'm doing. I'm doing bands of color. And like I said, this is really the first layer. I might add some more yellow or orange there, but I just want a base layer. This is cadmium orange. I love these pan paints. They're amazing. They're so colorful. I'm going right up to the edge because I have it masking taped so that I can have a nice clean frame after. Now this is cadmium red. That's probably going to be my last color. Oh, I got a little bit of blue in there. I'm going to get rid of that because that's going to turn into an ugly brown. I'm just taking a clean brush, as you can hear, wetting it and removing it with my brush. I could have taken a paper towel because it's still wet enough for that, but I'll do it this way. There, I got rid of all that. So now I have to be careful. I'm going to go in and just remove some of that because I did get a little bit of that, it's called fresh blue under there. Got some of that into my cadmium red, so I'll be careful here. That's better. No yucky brown. All right. Now I just want to make sure I got everything, like all the corners, you know. Everything here. A little brush, piece of a brush hair there. And I'm just going to take, I'm wetting my brush and just dabbing it on my paper towel, and I'm dotting. Just to sort of mix those colors in a little better, to blend them just a little better. There we go. A little bit of the red on the side too. But like I said, this is my first layer. So I'm going to let that dry. And then I will be back. So my canvas is dry. I'm going to add another layer of color to this, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Yellow in the middle and go around. And I'm going to decide as I go which colors I'm going to really use, because I don't know. Maybe there isn't enough of a transition for me, or there's too much of a transition. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm not too happy with it just for now, and I know I just began. Now, when you're adding layers to watercolor, you have to be really, really sure that the painting is dry, okay? Otherwise, you're just going to mishmash all of your colors together. You see, I kind of made that into a sun shape. And I'm going through the colors again. Everybody be quiet. I have my 5 dogs here with me, and today is Sunday. And there are a lot of people up in this rural area where I live. And there are people using quads, which are, you know, those, I don't know what they are, they're ATVs. A lot of hunting in this area, unfortunately. I say unfortunately. If you're a hunter, I have nothing against you, but if you're doing it for sport, I have something against you. I understand hunting for need, but I don't understand it for sport, so a lot of that going on right now. so it's quite loud. And usually when my dogs hear any kind of car outside, they bark. So that's why I reminded them to be quiet so that I can do my video and my painting and just relax today. I just want to mention something. I know it's been a long time since I created content on this channel. And most of you know my story. I adopted 3 dogs in March of this year. It's 2024 as I paint this. And I had already had 1, so I had 4 dogs in the house altogether. And then in my infinite wisdom, I adopted a 5th in June. So they've been quite a handful. And I haven't had time for a lot of things that I used to have time for. Because they were all sheltered. They are shelter dogs. Not anymore. I just have a clean, wet brush, just blending a little. And they were traumatized. They came from a puppy mill. They required a lot of training, a lot of care. We had some dog fights. They all had to figure out where they fit in here, you know. I'm just going to add a little bit more of that yellowy orange to this area here. And I'm blending it all together with a clean, wet brush, but I've patted off the water a little bit. Okay, a little more yellow maybe in the middle. I just want it to be like really nicely blended. So that's what I'm doing, just blending it all together. All right, so we gotta let this layer dry. And then we're gonna start with our black color. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I use a hair dryer to dry my paintings sometimes because, especially when I'm doing videos, I just noticed I didn't get the corners. When I'm doing videos, I don't want to have to wait a half an hour in between each layer because it ends up taking a long time to do a video. So I use a hair dryer and it works very well. Just if you have the cool setting, it works better. If you only have a hot setting, put it on low and keep the air far enough away from your painting so that you don't burn it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dry my painting and I will be back. So now what I'm going to do is I've got just a black watercolor sketch pencil. You don't need this. You could use a regular pencil or you could do this just with your paintbrush. I would like to just draw a little bit of an outline of what I'm going to be coloring in or painting black, because it's for me, just to help me with my shapes, because I'm making a really creepy looking tree. And I'm going to be filling this in with black paint after. I want to make it look kind of scary. Okay, and I'm going to be adding pumpkins. So I'm going to put the shapes of the pumpkins, and these are going to be silhouetted pumpkins as well. Just 3 maybe. There we go. And right away I'm going to just put the shapes of the eyes and the mouth so that I don't paint over them. As my stomach rumbles. This is fun to do. There we go. So I've got my basic shape sketched out, and I'm going to be using that lamp black right there, and I've got my liner brush. Now this is a great liner brush. I think it's a number 4. Yes, it's a number 4 liner brush. Oh, listen to my stomach. And it really works well for detailed work. So I am going to be using only the liner brush, some water, and my black paint. All right. So first I'm going to go in, and I want it to be really, really wet. Almost like ink. Because I want to outline the pumpkins first. Around those eyes. And around the mouths. If you have a good liner brush, look at that. It's like ink. Jeez, my stomach is going crazy. What's up with that? I had yogurt this morning. Every time I'm doing videos, let me get the stem too. Every time I do videos, my stomach goes crazy. Why don't I do the... I'll outline everything. How about that? That'll make life easier on me. I'm just, when I need to, I'm adding water. It's like the hull of a ship in my stomach right now. So yes, as I was saying before about the dogs, I also have a cat. He had to get used to 5 dogs in the house too. I've always had a lot of dogs, so he adapted very, very quickly. He's like one of the dogs, you know. But I guess I've had them now for 7 months. I'm just going to make this guy a little rounder. There we go. You get bonus sound effects here. My stomach. Let me fix that. Doesn't help that I always have shaky hands, you know. Yeah, so I've had my Rottweiler Raven for 2.5 years. So she's an old pro. But the 3 that I adopted in March, they were a family. There was the puppy, his mama, and her mama. That's why I adopted 3. I didn't want to break up the family. They've been through enough, you know, at a puppy mill, and the girls were basically kept in cages to breed. Isn't that awful? And I may have told this story before. I don't know if I told this story before, but when I adopted them all in March, the 3 of them, there was a 4th dog there who came from the same puppy mill. And she reminded me so much of my hound dog, Jack, who had just recently passed away. And I was like, oh, I want to adopt her too. But I couldn't because she needed surgery on her tail. And they assured me that there were people who wanted to adopt her, so I didn't feel so bad leaving her behind. And when June came around, I started thinking about her. And I got word from the shelter that she was still there. She's a pointer and she's a bundle of energy. I mean a bundle. She's got crazy energy. She's 5 years old and she has not slowed down. So people didn't want to have to take care of her, which is really sad. They want turnkey dogs, you know? So I said, okay, I'll be there in the morning to pick her up. And it's been wonderful. It's been tough. There have been fights, like I mentioned. But they're so traumatized, these dogs, you know. They need a lot of patience, and I'm there to give it to them. So, long story short, that's why I haven't been creating much content on this channel, or on any of my channels. I really just started a couple of months ago again. Now, I think I'm going to put the liner brush away for now, and I'm going to take another brush to continue. Probably my little, this is a number 2 round brush. Puppy's awake. And I'm just going to fill in those pumpkins. He makes so much noise when he flops down. All right. He is almost a year old now. I adopted him when he was 5 months old. Next month, he's going to be a year old. I'm the most proud of him because he had a rough time adapting. I had to teach him everything. Had to teach him how to go potty outside. Actually, I had to teach his mama too. She was never house trained. Well, because like I said, they lived in cages, you know, the girls. Plus, I had to teach them that it was okay to be in a crate while I was gone. That was rough on the puppy. They all have severe separation anxiety, and but I do have to go out at some time, you know, grocery shopping and stuff. And I can't bring all 5 of them with me. So they had to get used to crates. I had to crate train them. That took a long time, but they're all good with the crates now. Doesn't that look cute? And they have that little orange in the background. I love that. Now everybody be quiet. Everybody's okay. A big truck is driving by. Good job, guys. You wouldn't think I had 5 dogs in my room, huh? The one making the most noise is actually my cat. He's snoring. Because it's a beautiful fall day today, and there's a lot of sun in my room. And my cat's right next to the window, lying in the sun. I can't tell you how relaxing this is, my friends. Oh my goodness, I really needed this. just dipping my paintbrush in water when I feel I need to. All right, this is fun. There goes my stomach again. I really like doing silhouettes. I find them so interesting. I don't know why, I just love it. It lets me really play with colors for the backgrounds, you know? Okay, that guy's done. He doesn't look too happy, does he? I am painting this in mid-October, if you're looking at this at another time of the year. So that's why we've got the Halloween theme going here. I've actually been watching all of the Halloween movies lately. You know, the horror movies. I've seen them so many times, but they still scare me. It's my puppy again. He actually walked right into the crate by himself, and he's sleeping there. Good boy, Benny. I always try to give him positive reinforcement whenever he goes anywhere near the crates. Cages. I always tell them they're good when they go in the crates. Okay, so I've got all that little detail work done. I'm going to take a larger brush to fill in. Oh, what happened there? I guess I splashed or something. Just erasing it. There we go. Okay. So yes, I'm going to take a larger brush, probably my large round brush again, this large round brush, and I'm going to just fill in the larger areas. And then we'll go with the liner brush after and fill in some details. I really hope that my paintbrush isn't in your face there. I might have to do a couple of layers of black on this tree. But we'll see how it looks. This is a hard angle for me. Because I don't want to bump into my camera up there. I'll just leave that like that, and I'll fix it after with details. Because I do want this to be dark. I don't want to see any layers of the other colors underneath. But it's interesting, you know, if you just take a look at it, if you put a light layer of black over red, you can see the red coming through. That's what I really love about watercolors, you know, that you can see all the layering. If that's what you're trying to achieve, of course. If you're trying to do what I'm doing, you don't want to see the layering underneath. So while that's drying, I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of detail work with my liner brush. I'm going to see, like I said, it will depend because I don't want to put my hand on here. So if I can't handle that, I might have to stop and dry it. But let's see. If you have a really light touch, you can get some really nice thin, twiggy branches. Just make sure that your brush is wet enough. See how nice that is? I love the liner brushes. And I'm all for saving money, but I often say if you want to get a good liner brush, you're going to have to pay for it. Because you want to be able to get those little wispy branches and things. I might do some. Okay, now I'm going to take my number 2 round just to fill in the black on that branch. There we go. Maybe add a little bit more black around the edges here. I'm just going through the whole tree, and I'm adding a little more black where I think it's a little too transparent. Now, the bottom is almost dry. I want to be careful not to get my sleeve filled with black paint here. If you wanted to make this a really nice night scene, you could use blues and greens as your background, as your sky. I just figured the warm palette is more fall-like and Halloween-y. That's why I chose it. Shaky hands. Okay, I have to be careful here because it's hard for me to paint when I can't put my hand down, and I'm starting to make some shapes I don't want to make. So I'll be careful here. There we go. That's easier if I do it from the side here. I have limited space on my desk, so it's hard for me to grab a good angle to paint with so that I can still show you what I'm doing. I dream of having a separate room as a studio, but I live in a tiny little cottage here, and there isn't all that much room for a studio. But you know what? We make do with what we have, right? I am super grateful for having a roof over my head. So, oh, somebody's dreaming. The puppy got curious and he jumped up, and it was his mama, I think. She was dreaming. I like making trees that look like shapes of people. I feel like this looks like a person kind of turning around and looking backwards, you know what I mean? Do you see what I'm seeing? All right, where did I stop? I stopped here. I'm using a lot of black paint. I might have to refill my little palette here because I'm using it all up. Oh, I have a hair on my brush. Maybe that's why it was looking funny before. There we go. It happens when you have 6 pets in the same room. The pet hair flies. Now my little boxer pit bull mix is snoring. She's the grandma. And it's funny calling her the grandma because she's only 4 years old. So that's Miley, the grandma, 4 years old. And then Lulu Lucy is her daughter, who's 2 years old. And Benny Bear is Lucy's puppy, and he's almost a year old. Well, I think Lucy is probably 2.5 years now. And then the 4th dog, the pointer that I adopted, her name is Allie Faye, and she's 5 years old. And of course I have my Rottweiler Raven. She's going on 8 this year. Okay, things are looking good here. I'm just going to continue using the number 2 brush. I know it's small for this area, but that's okay. I'm just enjoying this way too much. It's funny how when you finally have a chance to sit back and do something that really relaxes you, how grateful you feel. I love the contrast of the black and the oranges and the yellows and the reds. I love it. And don't forget, we're going to be adding detail as well. I have more little branches to do. Everyone's all stretching out. They're all so cute. I could not have done this video even 2 months ago. It would have been mayhem. I have to add some more black. Some more of that lamp black I'm going to add to my palette just off camera here. Oh, who's that? That is Rottweiler Raven, shaking it up and flopping down. They're so funny. Oh, just so you know, I just have, you know, I keep going back and forth to my palette. I need more water though. I think this is looking pretty good so far. Very appropriate for the season of autumn here. Settle down, Raven. Good girl. Everybody be quiet. Everything's okay. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, my friends. The loud engines of the quads going by. So if we look at it, this painting had 4 layers, right? We did 2 layers for the background and 2 layers for all the black. Except for the pumpkins, I was able to get that dark enough on the first layer. We need a little more water there. There we go. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to start doing some detail work with my liner brush, and I'm continuing to use that lamp black. And it's at a really good consistency right now, I think. Sort of an inky consistency. So I wanted to add some more of those wispy kind of I didn't finish my sentence there, did I? Sorry, I have to grab this angle this way. I don't like the way that looks at all. It's hard for me to do it like this. I'll fix that up later when I can put my hand on the canvas. Because I like having, you know, the ends kind of thin. Everything's okay, guys. There we go, that's better. It's a miracle that I haven't gotten any black paint on my sleeve. Kind of looks like this tree has hands. Like it's coming to get you. No, 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 no. Everybody quiet. Make some little bumps here. There we go. Thinking of adding some more branches or something. I don't know. I'm going to add some more branches, but I'm going to let this dry completely so that I'm going to be able to put my sleeve down or my hand down on the page, because I'm finding it hard to, especially up here when I have to kind of go at this angle like this. There, I got that one done. But yeah, I'm going to let this dry and then I'll be back. So my black paint is dry. I've just got a piece of paper towel here that I'm going to use so that I can put my hand down. And if I accidentally sort of wipe off some areas of black that may not be 100% dry, I can just go back after and fill that in, because I really want to add some more branches to this tree. So I've got my number 2 brush here, and I'm going to add some branches, some larger branches. Now let me see how I'm going to do this. This one, I don't like what I did here at all. Shh, shh, shh. Lucy, be quiet. There we go. Make some larger branches come out. And then I can add some more wispy stuff to it after. Maybe another one here. And they can go right off the painting. Not that this is a realistic painting, but I want it to look a little more like a tree rather than a creepy thing. Well, I want it to look creepy too, but you know what I mean. All right, settle down, puppies. About here. Just remember when you're adding things like this, do it the way you want it to look. Don't worry about copying what someone else does, and you might not even want to do what I'm doing here, so that's okay. Like I said, I'm having a lot of fun, so I don't want to stop. And I have a little dot of black there, but I'm going to fix that after because I might add some grass and things like that. Okay, so for me, this looks a lot better. I like this a lot more. So I'm going to take my liner brush again, and I'm going to just see if I want to add any more little wisps to the new branches that I put in here. Some little branches that come out from that one. There we go. That's what I like to do. That's more my style. Okay, that's nice. And I might add another branch over there. I'll see. I hope you're enjoying this today, friends. I hope it's relaxing for you. As relaxing as it is for me, because it's super relaxing for me. All right, this is looking good. All right, settle down, Benny. My puppy has ants in his pants. Oh, I need more water. When you start to see that you don't get a solid line, then that means you need more water mixed into your paint. I personally think this looks much better the way I did it here. Adding more of the thicker branches. There we go. I like how that looks. Although the little bumps, I'm not sure if I like what I did there. So I'm going to take my larger number 4 brush and try to fix it to my liking here. Maybe not so many big bumps like that. Maybe a little more fluid. There we go. Because I do want the bumps, but not little ones. There we go. I like that better. So back to my number 2 brush, the number 2 round, because I wanted to add possibly a branch up here. And once again, I have a dilemma. Okay, I'm going to try to do it like this. more water in my paint. All right, and maybe one here. Okay, back to my liner brush to add a few little details to that area. That's going right off the page, so that's all right. I say page, of course I mean my canvas. Okay, that's a little light. Let me get some more paint on my brush. Kind of ruining what I just did there. There we go. I'm not going to touch it. But what I am going to do is add a little bit of grass. Sort of just going up like that. And this I don't mind if there are wispy kind of lines, you know. Like I said before, if you notice that you don't have a solid line like you see here, you need more water on your brush. But for the grass, I don't mind if it does that. Everything's okay, guys. Everybody be quiet. I'm going to try to fix that area. There we go. Remember I had a little drop of black paint there? I just put some tall grass on it. Now you can't see it. I'm just going over it again to make it a little more random, because grass is not always straight, right? It may look that way, but there are little layers of different shapes underneath all the time. There we go. I think I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's probably done. So I'm going to let that dry before I take off my masking tape. Well, my painting is dry, so I am going to carefully pull off the masking tape. I love this part. I think a lot of painters can agree with me that it's fun to pull off the masking tape and see your framed artwork. And if we're lucky, it didn't seep through underneath. So far, so good. Just get the top. Oh, that looks great. Sorry, I just bumped my camera. That looks great. I'm going to move this onto a better background so you can see it really well. So there's my painting. I'm very, very happy with it. I love how it looks. I love silhouettes. I love doing them. I hope you enjoyed it too, my friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please share this with anyone you think might enjoy it. And leave me a comment. I love your comments, and I do reply to all of them. So I will see you next time on Rain Francis Art. Take care. Bye.